Hey there, and thanks for joining me for this session. In this session, I want to give you 5 reasons to consider selling your home yourself for sale by owner, or F.S.B.O as we call it in the industry. I want to give you 5 reasons why you should consider doing it. Number 1, if you want to have direct contact to the action, you want to be the main point of contact, you want to know everything that's going on with your property, for sale by owners for you. Absolutely. Because you're going to get all the voicemails, all the emails, all the text messages. You're going to set up all the showings, and you're going to respond to all the offers. So if you're up for that, kind of picking up that part-time job, then definitely for sale by owner is something you should consider. I say that because I remember specifically helping one of my investor buyers. And I did her open house. Then after that, I updated her how the open house went. But then I didn't call her for about almost 2 weeks. And she was like, hey, what's going on? What's going on with my property? And I was like, well, what do you mean what's going on? Like, we don't have any offers. I mean, people are calling and going by to see it, but there's not really anything more to report other than that. So if you want to have a little bit more update and know exactly what's going on, I mean, of course, for sale by owner is something to consider. The number two reason would be you get to do the property your way in regard to the terms. Maybe you want to do seller financing, seller carryback financing. Maybe that's something you want to consider. Maybe you need a lease back or something of that sort. I'm not sure exactly what, but you can structure the deal the way you want to structure the deal. And that's probably a little bit more in regards to like commercial property and multifamily than just a single family residence. But it could also apply to single family residence as well. So if it's something that you want to do that's specific to you in regards to like doing the deal, you do the terms. You set the terms. They're yours to set. Number 3 is probably my personal favorite, is that you get to meet the buyer. There have been a couple properties that I sold that were my own properties. I was the listing broker, but I had a chance to like meet the buyers at the open house. So not only was I the agent or broker on the property, I was also the owner. So I had to kind of look a little bit of a preview as to like, is this person worthy enough to buy my home? Especially the first time. I remember the first time I met her mom, I met her husband. Her mom asked a lot of good questions, and I was really hoping that they would write an offer, and true enough they did, and I accepted it, and that was the buyer of our property. One of the first properties that I sold. I can remember that one specifically. So they kind of had a little interview, an unknowing interview, if you will, and they ended up being the buyer. So I think that's a good point. You get to meet the buyers, because a lot of times if you use agents, well, your agent is representing the buyer, the agent is representing you, the seller, and you might see a buyer's name on the paper, but they could be standing right next to you in the grocery store. You wouldn't know who they are. So I think that's kind of a nice little addition of being for sale by owner. Now, you know your home. This is something that I got to point out. Like, you know your home better than anybody. So even if you have an agent or a broker that's helping you, you're going to have to tell them when you changed the roof. When was the last time you replaced the roof or the plumbing, or has the electrical been upgraded? Do you have permits to these things? So on and so forth. Now, here's a caution to the sellers. I would suggest or recommend that as a seller, you only answer what's being asked. A lot of times sellers want to go into a lot of details. Like, for instance, if a buyer asks when was the last time the roof was changed, you can just say it was changed 10 years ago. You don't have to go into the fact that, oh, it was the El Nino storm. And after the storm, because the rain was heavy, or the Santa Ana winds were, tore the shingles off. You don't want to go into a lot of extra. Just answer the questions that have been asked. Now, last but not least, number 5, and this is probably the number 1 reason that people decide to sell the home themselves, is to not pay real estate commission. So let's just say you got a house for $1 million, and you think you can sell it for $1 million, or if you hired an agent, they get you $1 million. And you're not paying 4, 5, or 6% in commission. So you're saving $40,000, $50,000, or $60,000 in commission. And if the agent sold it for the same $1 million that you would, then you're absolutely right. That's a nice savings. And if you feel like you're up for that particular challenge and handling the transaction in that regard, then I just gave you 5 solid reasons why you should consider selling the home yourself for sale by owner. I'll recap them with you. Number 1 is you're the direct point of contact. Number 2 is you set your own terms. Not saying that you don't set terms when you're working with a broker or an agent, but I mean, it's like they're hearing it directly out of the horse's mouth or the seller's mouth. if you will. So number 3 is you get to meet the buyer. I think that's a nice little bonus. Number 4 is you know the home better than anybody. So you can go into a lot of, kind of a little bit more, not detail, but you can give them the exact specifics, if you will, about the questions that they're asking. And number 5, you don't pay any real estate commission. Who am I? I'm Emil Belvin. I'm a real estate broker and investor here in Los Angeles. And if you found this video to be helpful, by all means, give us a like. You can feel free to subscribe to our channel, as there are other videos that will also be helpful. You can leave us comments below as well. We'll reply to those as we can. If real estate is something that we can help you with, don't hesitate to give us a call here in the office. We'll be happy to hear from you and glad to get back to you. Our number is 310-670-3002. All right, we'll talk to you soon. You be well.